I want to teach you something today about reading nonfiction text. Let's read this with me. It says, reading nonfiction text. And text means, could be a book, it could be a magazine, it could be a story. Text is all kinds of books, magazines, anything that contains information or writing. Nonfiction, we know, tells us facts, right? A nonfiction author writes nonfiction because he or she wants to teach us something. That's the whole reason an author writes nonfiction books. Now last year, if you were here at Live Oak in first grade, you wrote books as authors of nonfiction also. You may have written a how-to book because you were teaching something. You may have written an all-about book because you were teaching something. That's what nonfiction is about teaching something, right? So, I'm going to teach you something about how to read nonfiction text, okay? So, you've been reading a lot of fiction, a lot of stories, right? Now, this is a book that I have read called Henry and Mudge and the Wild Goose Chase. And one of the things you probably do when you pick up a book, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, is you probably look and you say to yourself, what do I already know about this? And I might say to myself, well, I've read other Henry and Mudge books. So what do I already know? I know that Henry is the owner and Mudge is this big sloppy dog, and that they love each other and they have a lot of adventures and they have a lot of experiences together and they love each other. So I looked at this book and I asked myself, what do I already know? And the reason I did that was to get my brain ready. Let me show you how your brain works. Your brain is like these blocks. Your brain already knows some things. And when we think about what we already know, we get our brain ready to learn something new. That's how our brain works. The brain says, let's remember what we already know. Because then, click, we can add new things that we've learned. So that's how our brains work. So we're going to help our brains get ready by thinking about what we already know. So do this. What do I already know?
What do I already know?
Let's do it again. What do I already know? One more time. What do I already know? Okay, I want you to watch me while I ask myself, what do I already know? So if I was going to read this book called Bugs, I would ask myself, you can do it with me, what do I already know? Well, I know that bugs sometimes eat other bugs, and sometimes they eat like grass or plants. And I know that usually bugs, like they live together like ants. They live lots of ants together. But then sometimes I'm wondering, I'm not really sure. I wonder if bugs live by themselves. I also know bugs are called insects. I know that. And I know some people really love bugs and some people are a little creeped out by bugs. Right? Okay, so do you see what I just did? I thought about what my brain already knows. So I can get ready to learn something new. I want you to practice. What if this was, it's a pretty exciting book, isn't it? Does that mean you like it? Yeah. So what if this was a book that you had chosen and you were getting ready to read it? You would ask yourself, do it with me, what do I already know? So let's do that together. Would you turn and tell your partner what you already know about great white? 2,
Yeah, I just need
1. I heard a lot of people talking with their partners, and they were sharing all that they know about great white sharks. So then if you were going to read this book, then your brain is ready to read it. This was the book you had chosen. What would you ask yourself? What do I already know? Do you want to practice that one more time? Let's do that. Turn and tell your partner, what do you already know about police cars? Again, I saw people who were getting their brains ready by thinking about what you already know about what the author is going to teach you. So when you go and read today, or maybe tomorrow, or maybe the next day, anytime you read, at school or at home, if it's fiction or it's nonfiction, you can ask yourself, do it with me,